While the first helicopters could barely carry 1 or 2 people, today's successors are capable of lifting tens of tons of cargo. For example, the largest helicopter in the world was built about 60 years ago, and it can still easily transport several heavy buses. Historically, the USSR and the USA have always been the leaders in the development and production of heavy transport and the largest helicopters. These countries developed several unique models whose performance remains unrivaled. So, friends, today we begin our film with a true aviation legend, the Mi-8 helicopter. It's more than just a machine, it's a symbol of reliability, versatility, and human ingenuity. The Mi-8 has been in service for over half a century and remains one of the most widely used helicopters in the world. The story of the Mi-8 began in the 1960s in the Soviet Union. It was developed by the Mil Moscow helicopter plant, led by the chief designer Mikhail Lentьevich Mil. The Mi-8 made its first flight in 1961, and mass production began in 1965. Since then, more than 17,000 helicopters have been built, a world record. The Mi-8 is a twin-engine, multi-purpose helicopter. Its top speed is about 250 km/h, 155 mph. It can fly up to 600 km, and it can carry nearly 4 tons of cargo, either inside or on an external sling. It can transport up to 24 passengers or 12 wounded soldiers on stretchers. One of the greatest strengths of the Mi-8 is its versatility. It serves in the military, rescue operations, medical transport, and northern expeditions. The Mi-8 can land on snow, water, desert sand, or mountain peaks. Military versions, such as the Mi-28 or Mi-17, are equipped with armor and weapons. Civilian versions transport cargo, tourists, and even fight wildfires. The Mi-8 is used in over 50 countries worldwide. It has operated on every continent, even Antarctica. It's often nicknamed the flying truck for its toughness and simplicity. Some Mi-8 helicopters have been flying for over 40 years without major breakdowns. The Mi-8 is more than just a helicopter. It's a masterpiece of engineering that has stood the test of time. It has proven capable of performing any mission, in any condition. And despite its age, the Mi-8 remains one of the most reliable aircraft ever built. Let's move on to our next number. This is the AgustaWestland AW101, one of the most advanced and versatile helicopters in the world. Built to handle the harshest conditions on Earth, it's a true workhorse of modern aviation, equally at home saving lives, transporting troops, or hunting submarines. The AW101 was born from a partnership between Britain and Italy. In the 1980s, Westland Helicopters and Augusta joined forces to create a new generation of medium-lift helicopters, powerful, reliable, and ready for both military and civilian missions. Its first flight took place in 1987, and soon it became a benchmark for multi-role rotorcraft. The AW101 is powered by 3 Rolls-Royce Turbomeca engines, giving it outstanding performance and safety, even if one engine fails. It can reach speeds up to 278 km/h, 172 mph, and has a range of nearly 1,300 kilometers. Designed for long missions, it can stay airborne for over 5 hours. The AW101 is a true multi-role helicopter. The military version can carry 30 troops or 5 tons of cargo. It's equipped for anti-submarine warfare, search and rescue, and transport operations. The civilian and VIP versions, like the Merlin M.1 or VHS-71 Kestrel, offer luxury, safety, and cutting-edge avionics. Some even serve world leaders, including the British royal family. Technology is at the heart of the AW101's success. It features fly-by-wire controls, advanced radar and sonar systems, and automatic hover capability essential for rescue missions in stormy seas. Its large, reinforced cabin can carry stretchers, soldiers, or even vehicles, depending on the mission. From the Arctic Circle to the Middle East, the AW101 is in service with more than 10 countries, replacing several older helicopter types, such as the Sikorsky, the 3 Sea King. It performs roles such as medium transport, anti-submarine warfare, search and rescue, and ship support operations. Several operators, including the British, Danish, and Portuguese militaries, use the Merlin name for their AW101 helicopters. The Royal Canadian Air Force RCAF uses the CH-149 Cormorant variant for air sea rescue. Another variant, the Lockheed Martin VHS-71 Kestrel, was produced for service in the U.S. presidential transport fleet. Now, imagine a helicopter that can lift a tank, a plane, or even a house. Sounds like science fiction. Not at all. Meet the Sikorsky CH-54 and its civilian twin, the Sikorsky S-60 for Skycrane, true giants of the sky, built to carry the impossible. The CH-54 was developed by Sikorsky Aircraft in the early 1960s for the U.S. Army. Named after a Native American chief, it was designed for one main purpose, heavy lift operations. Its open-frame design allowed it to carry massive external loads of vehicles, containers, even other helicopters like the AW101 Huey. Max takeoff weight, 21 tons, payload, up to 9 tons, length, 26 meters, engines, 24,500 horsepower turboshafts, crew, 3 people. The cockpit was elevated for perfect downward visibility. Its tall landing gear let it walk over a load and lift it straight up without shutting down engines. After military success, Sikorsky launched the S-60 for Skycrane for civilian use. This version became iconic worldwide. It's used for construction of skyscrapers, firefighting carrying 10,000 liters of water, disaster relief and rescue, remote cargo delivery. The company Ericsson Air Crane acquired the rights and continues to build and modernize them today. Both CH-54 and S-60 remain unmatched in design and purpose. They've shown that sometimes the best solution is to plane, but a flying crane. Skycranes are still at work across North America, Europe, and Australia at lifting, building, and saving lives. The Sikorsky CH-54 and S-60 Skycrane aren't just helicopters. They're proof that the sky itself can be a construction site. The titans of the air is still unstoppable today. To massive propellers, the powerful roar of engines, and a silhouette recognizable the world over. This is the Boeing CH-47 Chinook, a helicopter that has become a symbol of strength, reliability, and endurance. Created over 60 years ago, it remains indispensable in both the military and civilian sectors. Today we'll tell you how the Chinook became a true legend of the skies. The Chinook's history began in the late 1950s when the US Army needed a heavy lift transport helicopter. Boeing Vertol developed a unique design with two rotors arranged one behind the other. The first flight took place in 1961, and the CH-47 entered service with the U.S. Army in 1962. It was named Chinook after a Native American tribe from the Northwest, following military tradition. The Chinook's primary design is a tandem rotor system. Two secondary rotors rotate in opposite directions using torque. This eliminates the need for a tail rotor, allowing the helicopter to carry heavier loads. It is equipped with two 4,800 horsepower turboshaft engines, and thanks to a rear ramp, it can load equipment directly on board. It can lift to 12 tons, and the cabin can accommodate up to 55 soldiers or 20 for casualties. Specifications: maximum speed, 315 km per hour, range up to 740 km without refueling, length 30 meters, height 5.7 meters, rotor diameter 18.3 meters, crew 3 people, pilot, co-pilot, and flight engineer. The CH-47 is one of the fastest heavy-lift helicopters in the world. Despite its enormous size, it can perform maneuvers that are beyond the capabilities of most transport vehicles. The Chinook has participated in dozens of conflicts, from Vietnam to Afghanistan. In Vietnam, it transported troops, artillery, equipment, and even dropped bombs. Later, the Chinook participated in the Iraq and Persian Gulf Wars, helping evacuate people and deliver humanitarian aid. Thanks to its reliability, it became a true workhorse of the military, capable of flying in mountains, deserts, and stormy conditions. In addition to military use, the Chinook is actively used in civilian missions, forest firefighting, evacuations, cargo delivery to hard-to-reach areas, power line, and bridge construction. The current version of the CH-47F has received new engines, digital avionics, composite blades, and an in-flight refueling system. Currently, more than 1,000 Chinook helicopters are in service worldwide, in more than 20 countries. The Boeing CH-47 Chinook is more than just a transport helicopter. It's a symbol of engineering excellence, proven by time and war. Over 60 years of service, it has become part of history, a machine that can do it all: lift, rescue, and deliver. And even today, Decades later, the Chinook continues to prove true legends never age, they just fly higher. And now our next giant. It was so huge that trucks could drive underneath it. It lifted houses, airplanes, and even rockets. This isn't science fiction, it's the Mi-10, the Soviet flying crane, created for the most challenging missions in aviation history. Today, we'll tell you why it was created, how it worked, and why it still amazes engineers around the world. The history of the Mi-10 began in the late 1950s. The Soviet army and industry needed a helicopter that could transport enormous loads to roadless locations, construction sites, the taiga, oil rigs, and military training grounds. The legendary Mi-6 served as the basis for the project, but designers led by Mikhail Mil had to literally reinvent the fuselage. This resulted in a new type of flying crane with extended landing gear and a loading platform under the fuselage. The Mi-10 had a twin-engine design with 5,500 horsepower motors each. It could lift up to 15 tons of cargo, an entire truck, or a container over 12 meters long. The fuselage was elongated, and the landing gear was extremely tall, allowing equipment or containers to be rolled under the helicopter without an external sling. For precise navigation and cargo placement, the pilots had downward position windows and an additional sight. One version, the Mi-10K, had a shortened chassis and a lower operator's cabin, allowing for direct visibility of the load below, much like the American Skycrane. However, there were several Mi-10 variants. The Mi-10, the main version, was designed for transporting containers. The Mi-10K was a crane with a lower operator's cabin. The Mi-10R was a reconnaissance version with equipment. The Mi-10PP was designed for electronic warfare with large antennas. The Mi-10 was used in the military, industry, and even the space industry. It transported rocket launcher assemblies, aircraft parts, and mobile laboratories. In civilian service, it installed power transmission towers, antennas, and building structures. In 1965, the Mi-10 set a world record by lifting a load weighing over 15 tons to a height of 2 kilometers. This record stood for several decades. Specifications: length 32 meters, height 7.8 meters, rotor span 35 meters, empty weight 27 tons, maximum speed to 135 kilometers per hour, range up to 800 kilometers. Despite its size, the Mi-10 possessed amazing stability and control precision. It could hover literally over an area the size of a tennis court. The Mi-10 remains a symbol of Soviet innovation and daring design. It showed that helicopters could do more than fly, they could build, lift, and shape the world below. Today, only a few remain, but their legacy lives on as monuments to human ambition and engineering brilliance. It's big, it's loud, and it can carry almost anything the U.S. Marines need, from troops to tanks. Meet the Sikorsky CH-53 Super Stallion, one of the most powerful helicopters ever built in the USA. For over 40 years, this beast has been the backbone of heavy lift operations for the U.S. Marine Corps and Navy. The story of the Super Stallion began in the early 1970s. The U.S. military needed a helicopter that could carry heavier loads and fly farther than the older CH-53 DC Stallion. Sikorsky Aircraft took up the challenge, creating a machine that combined raw lifting power with modern technology. The prototype first flew in 1974, and after years of testing, the CH-53 entered service in 1981. From that moment, it became the heaviest and most capable helicopter in the Western world. Let's break down what makes the Super Stallion such a legend. It's powered by 3 General Electric T60 Forge 416/416A engines, each producing 4,380 shaft horsepower, that's over 13,000 horsepower combined. Its main rotor has 7 massive blades, spanning 24 meters, and it even has a tilted tail rotor for extra lift and stability. The CH-53 can carry up to 16 tons 36,000 pounds of cargo either internally or on external hooks. That means it can transport a Humvee, artillery pieces, or 55 fully equipped troops in one mission. Despite its bulk, the helicopter can fly at 315 kilometers per hour, 196 miles per hour, and has a range of about 1,000 kilometers, 540 nautical miles with in-flight refueling capability. The Super Stallion's reputation was forged in real combat and critical missions. It served in Lebanon, Somalia, Iraq, and Afghanistan, lifting troops, supplies, and even downed aircraft out of hostile zones. Its ability to operate in hot, high, and sandy conditions made it a favorite for desert warfare. But its role goes beyond combat. The CH-53 has also taken part in humanitarian and rescue missions, delivering food and aid after hurricanes and tsunamis. In the U.S. Navy, it became a vital shipboard heavy lifter, ferrying equipment between aircraft carriers and supply ships, a flying crane over the ocean. Here are some incredible facts about the Super Stallion. It can fly with just 2 engines, even when fully loaded. It's the largest and heaviest helicopter in the U.S. Air Force inventory. The Marines call it the heavy hauler, and for good reason. Its rotor blades are so large that when folded for storage on a ship, they take up almost the entire deck. And although production ceased many years ago, its spirit lives on in the next generation. The CH-53K King Stallion, a modernized digital helicopter with even greater payload capacity. The Sikorsky CH-53K King Stallion helicopter is a major upgrade of the CH-53 Super Stallion, featuring a new, more powerful engine with greater power and lower fuel consumption, as well as a new composite main rotor blade system. The King Stallion offers significantly greater payload capacity, can carry heavier cargo internally, and has a longer range than the Super Stallion. The CH-53K also features a modern fly-by-wire control system for improved control, while the CH-53 uses an older hydromechanical control system. The Sikorsky CH-53 and CH-53K stand as a symbol of American engineering, like a machine that combined brute force with precision, power with purpose. For decades, it carried the Marines wherever they needed to go, over oceans, deserts, and mountains. And even as the world moves toward newer aircraft, the legacy of the Super Stallion remains unshakable. Because when the mission is too big for anyone else, the CH-53 and CH-53K get it done. The Sikorsky CH-53 Super Stallion are the powerhouse of the sky. Before the world had ever seen a heavy-lift helicopter, there was the Mi-6, a colossal machine that shattered records and redefined what helicopters could do. It wasn't just big, it was the biggest in the world when it first flew in the late 1950s. A true engineering marvel of the Cold War era, built to carry tanks, troops, and dreams of Soviet aviation power. The Mi-6, known by its NATO codename Hook, was born in the early 1950s at the Mill Design Bureau, led by the visionary Mikhail Mill. At that time, the Soviet Union needed a helicopter that could transport heavy military equipment across vast distances, something no other country had achieved. Development began in 1952, and on June 5, 1957, the first Mi-6 took to the skies. It was enormous, fast, and unlike anything the world had ever seen. When it entered service in 1962, the Mi-6 became the largest and fastest production helicopter on the planet. Let's talk numbers, because this machine was pure power. The Mi-6 stretched 33 meters 108 feet from nose to tail and stood 10 meters high. Its main rotor, 35 meters across, was driven by two massive Soloviev D25V turboshaft engines, each producing 5,500 horsepower. That's 11,000 horsepower total. It could carry up to 12 tons of cargo, or 65 fully equipped troops. Its maximum takeoff weight? An incredible 42 tons, unprecedented for its time. And yet, despite that size, the Mi-6 could fly at 300 kilometers per hour, 186 miles per hour, making it not just the heaviest, but also the fastest helicopter in the world in the 1960s. The Mi-6 was not built for one job, it was built for everything. In the Soviet military, it served as a heavy transport, delivering armored vehicles, artillery, and soldiers to remote areas. It could even lift ballistic missile parts or mobile radar systems into the field. But it wasn't limited to the military. In civilian life, the Mi-6 became a hero of construction, oil exploration, firefighting, and rescue missions. It hauled prefabricated bridges, power line towers, and even entire houses across Siberia. In 1969, a Mi-6 was used to carry a crashed aircraft out of the taiga, something no other helicopter could do. The Mi-6 was not just massive, it was revolutionary. It was the first turbine-powered heavy-lift helicopter in the world. It introduced aerodynamic rotor blades with twist, hydraulic flight controls, and a streamlined fuselage design that influenced generations of helicopters after it. The Mi-6 set 16 world records for speed, altitude, and payload capacity, including lifting 20,117 kilograms to a height of 2,000 meters. For years, it held the title of the largest helicopter ever built, until its successor, the legendary Mi-26, took the crown in the 1980s. The Mi-6 was not just a helicopter, it was a statement, a symbol of Soviet engineering ambition and proof that humans could conquer the skies with power and precision. For nearly 40 years, it served around the world, from the Arctic tundra to tropical jungles, a flying giant that carried armies, cities, and history itself. Even today, some Mi-6s remain in museums, proudly standing as monuments to an era of fearless innovation. The Mi-6, the helicopter that made the impossible possible. Imagine a machine so massive that it can lift another helicopter fully loaded, as if it were a toy. Meet the Mi-26, the largest and most powerful helicopter ever built. This Soviet giant has been rewriting the limits of what helicopters can do since the 1980s. The Mi-26, known by its NATO codename Halo, was developed by the Mil Design Bureau in the late 1970s. Its mission was clear: replace the aging Mi-6 and create a machine that could carry more than any other helicopter in the world. Designed by legendary engineer Mikhail Mil, the project aimed to support both military logistics and civilian heavy transport. The first flight took place in December 1977, and after years of refinement, the Mi-26 entered service in 1983. From the beginning, it was a record breaker, lifting over 20 tons of cargo in a single flight. Let's talk about the numbers because they're mind-blowing. The Mi-26 measures 40 meters in length, that's longer than a Boeing 737. It stands 8 meters tall and weighs 28 tons empty. But here's the magic: it can carry up to 20 metric tons of payload externally or inside its massive cargo bay. It's powered by two D136 turboshaft engines, each producing 11,400 horsepower, giving it the strength to lift tanks, trucks, or even other helicopters. Its main rotor, 32 meters in diameter, has 8 blades, ensuring stability even under extreme conditions. Despite its size, it can reach speeds up to 295 kilometers per hour and fly 800 kilometers without refueling. The Mi-26 isn't just a military monster, it's a global workhorse. In the Soviet and later Russian armed forces, it has been used to transport armored vehicles, artillery, and troops into remote or dangerous zones. But the Mi-26 has also served humanity by performing disaster relief, firefighting, and rescue operations across the world. In 1986, after the Chernobyl nuclear disaster, the Mi-26 was used to drop tons of materials to contain radiation. It helped transport equipment after the 2004 Indian Ocean tsunami, and even in Afghanistan and Syria, it's been a vital logistic lifeline. Countries like India, China, Mexico, and Venezuela have used or leased this helicopter for both military and civilian tasks. Did you know that the Mi-26 once carried another Chinook helicopter that had crash-landed in Afghanistan? Or that it holds the world record for the heaviest lift ever made by a helicopter, 56 tons. Its unique design allows it to fly even with one engine and to land on rough, unprepared terrain, a true titan of engineering. For over 40 years, the Mi-26 has proven that size is to limitation, it's a superpower. It remains a symbol of engineering brilliance and raw strength, unmatched even by modern Western designs. As we look toward the future of aviation with drones, tiltrotors, and electric flight, the Mi-26 still reminds us what human ingenuity can achieve when we dare to go big. The Mi-26 is the giant of the skies. Imagine a helicopter so massive that it could carry an entire passenger plane inside. A flying colossus, the size of a building, that broke every record ever set in helicopter aviation. Meet the MiL V-12, also known as the Mi-12, a Soviet engineering masterpiece that still holds the title of the largest helicopter ever built. The story begins in the early 1960s, during the height of the Cold War. The Soviet Union needed a helicopter capable of transporting intercontinental ballistic missile components, massive cargo that couldn't be moved by road or by smaller aircraft. In response, Mikhail Mil and his design bureau began developing something unprecedented, a flying giant that combined to me at 6 rotors, each mounted on the end of enormous wings. The prototype of the V-12 took off on June 27, 1967, and the world's aviation community could hardly believe what they were seeing. This wasn't just a big helicopter, it was a flying building. Let's talk about the numbers, because the MIL V-12 didn't just set records, it redefined them. The V-12 was 37 meters long, 12.5 meters tall, and its two rotors spanned an incredible 67 meters, almost the wingspan of a Boeing 747. Each rotor had 8 blades, powered by Dassault Aviv D25 VF turboshaft engines, each producing 6,500 horsepower. That's a combined total of 26,000 horsepower. The helicopter could carry up to 40 tons of cargo, more than the takeoff weight of many small jets. Inside, its cargo bay measured 28 meters long and could fit 100 fully equipped troops or an entire truck with missile equipment. Despite its size, the V-12 could reach speeds of 260 kilometers per hour and fly up to 500 kilometers without refueling. During test flights, the V-12 stunned even its own creators. It lifted a record-breaking 44,105 kilograms to an altitude of 2,155 meters, a world record for helicopters that still stands today. In 1970, the V-12 appeared at the Paris Air Show, where Western engineers were absolutely speechless. It won the prestigious Sikorsky Prize for Outstanding Engineering Achievement, a rare honor for a Soviet design during the Cold War. The V-12 proved that Soviet aerospace technology could compete with, and even surpass, the West. So why did this flying titan never go into full production? By the early 1970s, the strategic situation had changed. The new generation of missiles no longer needed such massive transport. They were designed to be moved by road and rail instead. The V-12 was too large, too complex, and too expensive for general use. Only 2 prototypes were ever built, one of which still survives today in a museum near Moscow, standing as a silent monument to an era of limitless ambition. Even though the V-12 never went into mass production, its legacy lived on in the next generations of Soviet helicopters. The experience gained from building the V-12 directly influenced the creation of the Mi-26, which remains the largest operational helicopter in the world today. The V-12 was a proof of concept that human imagination, when combined with engineering genius, could lift the impossible into the sky. The MIL V-12 was more than a machine, it was a dream, built in metal. A vision of limitless possibility, where size was no obstacle, and ambition had no ceiling. Even half a century later, no one has built a helicopter larger than the V-12. It remains an icon, a flying monument to human engineering courage. The MIL V-12, the giant that could fly. If you love aviation legends, like this video, subscribe, and tell us which aircraft you want next.